Good morning. It is Saturday, September 26th, and I came in here to make Ben's bed, and I just noticed how glorious these colors look from out his bedroom window. So I wanted to show you that. It's a very cloudy day. It's very dim. And I had to strip Ben's bed sheets because his brand new red plaid pajamas stained his sheets pink. So I'll have to put a little bleach in the laundry and hope that comes out. To bed very late last night. Ben asked at 8:30 if he could watch a movie. And normally I would not let them start something that late, but I said sure. So he watched a movie and didn't get to bed then until like 10:30 or so. Megan and I were both up until 1. She stays awake doing stuff in bed in her room until I shut my light off. And sometimes I still have to like yell down the hall to her to shut her light off. She's always the last one to shut her light off. So, but I was up very late because I finished this book. I read the last 9 chapters in one sitting all last night. And that kept me up until 1 o'clock in the morning. It started to get really good at the end, and I just really wanted to finish it and find out what happened. Poor Megan. She just came out of her room. I'm sure she wanted to sleep longer because the next door neighbor has been hammering and like right outside her bedroom window, and their kids are out in the backyard playing and screaming. They have little kids. And she came out in the hall and she said, "He's been hammering," and then I talked to her. I was showing her that what happened to Ben's sheets, and then sure enough, she says, "Oh yeah, now that I got up, he stopped." He did. He stopped as soon as she came out of her bedroom. No more hammering. That's rude. Okay, so yesterday you saw we took back 2 books that I did not have time to read that were due back. I still have these 2 books here at home that I'm hoping I can get both read. This one, Don't Look For Me, is a thriller, so hopefully that'll be kind of a page turner and I can read that pretty fast. It's not due for 11 days. And then this one, Migrations, is shorter. It's not that thick. And so I'm hoping that I will be able to finish this one after this one. And this one is not a 14-day, so I could renew this one unless somebody else is waiting for it. And then it won't let me renew it. He started hammering again. Can you hear that? It's not quite as loud as it was earlier, but still hammering on a Saturday morning. I really don't like when people do stuff like that on a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning. And I really don't like when people mow their lawn really early on a weekend morning. Why? It's wet anyway. You shouldn't be mowing wet grass. I never understand why people do that. Here is the whiteboard for today. As is typical on Saturdays, my main task is laundry. And as I have mentioned in other videos, that will take basically all day. I will show you the laundry once Megan has the last basket up there. She'll bring that down once she gets changed, and she'll bring it down with her. Please excuse the sound of the neighbor hammering in the background. Of course, now he stops again. Ben and I were just discussing how hot it feels. It's not that hot. It's probably like...
It's only like 67.
It's only like in the high 60s, but it's really humid. And since we no longer have an air conditioner here or downstairs at all, we really feel the humidity. I have the fan on. Upstairs, we still have an air conditioner in my bedroom window and Ben's bedroom window. And so upstairs stays pretty nice. And yes, we did have our they're on right now just for the humidity. Although it is supposed to cool off considerably tomorrow. I think I have to check it. And so then I think that today will probably be the last day of the year that I have to have the air conditioners on. And then I have to arrange some time for my dad and somebody else to come and get the air conditioners out, which I really don't like having people in my house right now. And my dad, he put them in by himself in the spring, but he really struggled. Oh, you can see us talk about that in this video. And so he said he definitely needs someone to help him. I think they're just too heavy for him, and he has to carry them from the second floor of the house all the way to the basement and up and down. So it's a struggle for him, and I think he's also a little bit nervous about like dropping them out the window. So I'm gonna have to tell him. I'm gonna wait until it's consistently quite cool and like freezing at night for a while though, before I have him take them out, just in case, because you never know, there might be that sneak Indian summer that comes in and then it's 80 again and I need them back in. So I want to wait until it's like close to the end of October before we take them out. I have a little app on my phone. It's called Days Counter, and it's a cool little countdown to like things that you have coming up. And currently I have 4 things on there. And I was just looking at it. I look at it every morning to like remind myself how long it is until stuff. It's 90 days till Christmas today, so 3 months till Christmas. Kind of worried about that. Don't know what I'm gonna do about Christmas. I'm not sure if it's gonna be safe. The last year or two, it's just been me and the kids anyway. My only brother died 30 years ago, and my parents are divorced. I don't have any other siblings. When I was a kid, up until like even when Andrew was really little, we still got together with my grandparents and my aunts and uncles and cousins. I have lots of aunts and uncles and cousins, but my grandparents have all passed away now. I had 3 grandparents die in 1 year. March of 94, July of 94, March of 95. My dad's dad, my mom's mom, my dad's mom, all died in 1 year. And then my mom's dad, my grandpa, died in 2010, so 10 years ago. So I haven't had a grandparent alive for 10 years. We've gone smaller every year, so it's basically just me and the kids doing a little gift exchange with our little tiny Christmas tree that we have. Our big Christmas tree, our big nice pre-lit Christmas tree, gradually died over time. Every year more and more lights would stop working, and so I finally gave up on it. I'm a little worried about money for Christmas this year, but also when you have kids the age of my kids, it's like, what do I get them? They don't really like need or want anything. Ben's always happy to get Roblox gift cards, and usually they'll take like clothes, but they all have new phones right now. Honestly, I really prefer to give the gift of travel, but because we're in this uncertain time period right now, and I'm going to make a separate video about this in the future, planning for travel is very, very difficult. Okay, a couple other things that came up on my days counter. The first one was it's 56 days till Thanksgiving break, and we are planning to do a trip over Thanksgiving break. And the way that we're paying for that is with the fairly sizable deposit that I had paid for a very nice balcony room on the Disney Magic for next October, which I have canceled. We currently now have no cruises booked and no intention of booking any. We were quite disappointed when they announced not surprised, but we're like, dang it. When they announced the health protocols that both the joint Norwegian Royal Caribbean Health Panel came up with and CLIA came up with, the Cruise Line International Association, and I don't have a problem with any of it. I don't care about wearing masks. I don't care about any of that. The only thing that I was not happy about was testing. And the reason I'm not happy about the testing is because I am absolutely terrified of having that test. I cannot stand to have anything up my nose. I just can't take it. I'll have a full-blown panic attack. Megan feels the same way. She did have to have that big, deep swab one time when she was little to test for influenza, and she absolutely freaked out. To tell you how we feel about this, we've basically decided that we will not be going on a cruise until there's no testing. We were trying to decide, like, if they're not doing that kind, would we go? But we're still nervous. We're afraid of the risk of what if we get there and they are doing that kind? How would we know for sure before we get to the port? And also, I don't like that basically it's on you. If you end up getting to the port and you test positive, it's all on you. And people keep talking about insurance, but I'm sorry, pandemics have never been covered by travel insurance. So I think a lot of people are going to be in for a rude awakening when they find out that their basic travel insurance that they bought doesn't cover it. MSC Cruises in Europe is selling a very inexpensive add-on pandemic insurance, but it's like through the cruise line. It's not through a traditional travel insurance company that I know of, so that's a whole thing. But anyway, we do not want to get that test. Megan said yesterday in the car, we were talking about this, and she said, I quote, "I don't care if I'm dying of COVID, I'm not getting a COVID test." And so I totally understand how she feels. And then we were talking about it last night here at home, and Megan was saying, I'd rather have a blood test. And I agree with her. I would rather have them take blood out of my arm than do that. That's how scared I am. That's how much I don't want to have that happen. And Ben said, Ben doesn't want to get blood drawn. And so Ben said, okay, you guys just go without me then. So that's kind of where we're at with cruising. So anyway, we got a good chunk of money back from canceling that Disney cruise. I had other concerns too. Number one, I don't think that cruise is going to go. It's an Eastern Canada cruise. I don't think that they're going to be letting anybody into Canada even then. So I'm not sure that, I just decided to cancel it. We're going to wait with cruising and see what happens. As bad as I want to take a cruise, I haven't seen the ocean in over 2 years. We're going to wait and see how things go. But anyway, I invited Andrew to go with us at Thanksgiving break, but he cannot because at his job, November is a blackout month for anybody taking off work. We have not taken a family vacation, the four of us, in 3.5 years. The last one was our Disney Wonder Cruise in March of 2017. So I'm really bummed about that, and I really want to do something else together. And so I'm really hoping, another thing on my days counter is it's 5 months until spring break. So I'm really, really hoping that we can, all four of us, do something together at spring break. I really hope that's possible. I'd like it to be going to Europe or something, but I don't think that's going to be possible. And the way that I would do that is I would use my tax refund. One other thing about that Disney cruise I canceled for next October, it's out of New York City. And as of right now, I can't go to New York City. New York is not letting anybody in without a 14-day quarantine. And I don't know about you, but I don't know very many people who can afford to spend 14 days in a hotel room and not leave before they go on their vacation or their trip. So that's another problem. Welcome to my creepy basement. Now, in the creepy stone basement, I do have a very nice washing machine, which has been replaced in the time since we've owned this dryer. But I did have a dryer repairman here that completely took my dryer apart and rebuilt it for me. So the dryer works fine. Should last a long time, he said. Currently, I'm washing Ben's sheets. I normally would wash sheets in hot, but I'm washing them in cold, and I put a little bleach in there. Fingers crossed it gets the pink out of those sheets and doesn't ruin the sheets. I now use these wool balls for drying. I do not use dryer sheets anymore, and in fact that reminds me, I'm going to take this upstairs because he's been sitting here for a long time doing nothing. I'm going to take these upstairs, again, free and clear, free and gentle. Free and clear. We don't use anything with dyes or perfumes. I'm going to take these upstairs for a new use, which is getting dust off electronics. I read that works, so Ben's been really asking me because dust collects on his computer. And then here is our dehumidifier, which I had to dump out, and which I can't use the little drain thing because it's too far to the floor drain, and there's only plugs over here. There's no plugs on the other side. And I also had to clean the filter because the filter light was on. So cleaning filters is another one of my many, many household tasks. I have to clean the filter in the dehumidifier, and I have to clean the filter in the air conditioners. You don't replace them, you just clean them. Here's the water heater. Here's the furnace. Here's the old wood burning furnace over here. You can see we are actually quite organized. We have bins. A lot of these I think are empty. And then our Christmas stuff is over here. Here's our Christmas stuff all in handy dandy in one place. Except for the tree is in one of these Easter baskets. Halloween things. No trick-or-treating this year though. They're saying don't trick-or-treat. We weren't planning on it anyway. Okay, this is 1 week of laundry. 1 week. That's how much laundry there is. I just sorted it. These are the offending new red plaid jammies that stained Ben's sheets. That's my bad. I should have washed them before he wore them. However, I'm glad now that I didn't wash them in a load of laundry with other clothes, because now I know I have to wash them by themselves, because otherwise they'd stain the whole load red or pink. My clothes, Ben's clothes, that's the special stuff that like has to be dried flat, and I usually wash all the jeans together in a load by themselves. The towels basket, Megan's clothes. The socks basket is not too full, so I probably don't have to do that today. And the whites, intimates / masks basket, and that's stuff that I would do whites separately, which again there's not too much, but also stuff that I would put in a lingerie bag, and then hang dry or flat dry. So that's what laundry's like. This will take me hours. Since my laundry is in my creepy crypt-like basement, I forget to go down there unless I set the oven timer for how long the cycle is. This is how we remember to go down and switch to the next load. Otherwise, we get busy with whatever we're doing, and I completely forget, and then, oh crap, the day's over and I didn't do the rest of the laundry. So we have to set the oven timer to remind us that load is done, go down and switch it, put it in the next load, move the stuff to the dryer, etc. One thing I absolutely hate about this house is having the laundry in the basement. And this is the only house I've lived in that I've had the laundry in the basement. Every Saturday, Duolingo emails us our weekly report. And I just forwarded Ben's to him. It actually comes to my email. And then I forwarded it to him. And he had a much better week this week than he had the week before, which last week he didn't practice at all. So I got 413 experience points this week. That is significantly down. Last week I had 563 experience points, and the week before that I had 590 experience points. So I must have been busier this week and didn't have as much time to practice. I learned 44 new words this week. I spent an hour and 42 minutes total on Duolingo, and I completed 33 lessons. So those are the things it tells you in your weekly report that you get from Duolingo. Okay, this is interesting. I was just talking about the issue with cruises in the pandemic. I just got an email from the Disney Cruise Line blog, and it's talking about Disney Cruise Line reveals a flexible refund policy for guests with COVID-19 related health concerns. And it says that if you have one or more of the qualifying scenarios within 14 days of your embarkation, you may change your sail date on the same terms. And this is saying if you have symptoms, have a temperature of 100.4 or greater, have known exposure to a person within the previous 14 days, have tested positive, or indicate a high health risk. And so they're saying that you can go right up to 14 days before. And it said, if you experience one or more of the qualifying scenarios and do not contact Disney Cruise Line prior to your vacation, you will not be able to sail and will receive a full refund without Disney imposed cancellation fees. So I'm taking that to mean if you show up and you fill out the questionnaire, or you have one of these, that they're just going to deny you boarding, but they're going to give you all your money back. Does that sound right to you? I mean, that's what I'm interpreting that to mean. And then they're also saying that if they cancel your cruise because of the situation, that you will get your full refund without any fees or anything. And which that makes sense. And then they've also extended their final payment deadline, flexibility of their final payment deadlines, and relaxed their cancellation policy through March 31st of 2021. So Disney is doing some nice things. I've never had a problem when I've had to cancel a Disney cruise, which unfortunately I've had to do too many times. I've always gotten all my money back. They've never given me any grief at all. They're always very happy to do it. They don't even really question you that much, so that's really nice. I am a little sad right now. Washing them in cold and bleach did not work. When I took Ben's sheets out of the washer, I looked at them and it looked like all the pink was gone. And so I put them in the dryer and dried them. And then I came up just now to make his bed and it's not gone. So they're still pink. So I'm really bummed because once you dry them, that's kind of it. And I'm sad because those were really cute special sheets that I got him. And he has only had them a short time. I just got him new bedding not that long ago, like in the past couple months. So I'm really sad. He came up and looked and he said it's no big deal, but I feel bad. I'm bummed about that. And then while we were eating lunch, the kids were watching the new live action Beauty and the Beast in the den. And I was trying to watch Elementary in the living room, and then I missed something they said, and so I rewound it a little bit, like the 30-second rewind, and then it got stuck. And so I went out of it and went back into it, and then it had no sound. And this has happened before with Hulu. I don't know if it's Hulu or I think it's Hulu. But usually we go back out of it, go back to the Roku homepage, and then go back into the show, and then it works fine. But this time it didn't. And I tried other shows on Hulu, and those didn't have any sound either. And then I tried Disney Plus, and that didn't have any sound. I finally just gave up. I didn't get to watch the rest of the show. And I don't know if something's wrong with the Roku. I looked it up online, but I already tried everything they said to try. I'm hoping it'll like fix itself and I can watch stuff later because I don't have time to deal with stuff like this. And it's always something. But anyway, I'm really tired. I'm going to take a nap right now. It's right after lunch. Well, it's definitely a good day for a nap. It's really dark. Look how dark it is. This is the natural light, and I'm sitting right by the window, and it's 4:30, and I was zonked. I slept for over 2 hours, and I was really out, and so I was obviously very tired. It actually thunderstormed for a little while. Right when I was laying down, I heard thunder. It doesn't look like things are wet though, so I don't know if it actually rained. I'm still just kind of out of it, and also I'm cold. So I've turned off the air conditioners, and I'm actually gonna change my clothes and put on pants and long sleeves because I'm actually really cold. And then I changed my clothes, and now I come down here, and it is definitely way warmer down here than upstairs. So now I kind of wish I hadn't changed, but maybe I should have left the air conditioners on. It's definitely humidity. The kids said it did not rain, but that it thundered. So it must have gone like past us. Okay, I just got the mail. Most of the mail we get these days is junk. This is a postcard thing for the Minnesota Orchestra. A thing telling me to vote by mail, which I've already done, technically. The tiny little thing that this is what's left of our town's phone book. Phone books have kind of gone the way of the dinosaur, haven't they? This is, I mean, I can't believe they even still do this. Oh, it's just yellow pages. I feel like this is a waste of paper. A Biden promotional thing. A Democratic Party of Wisconsin promotional thing. And another thing about voting from home. Also from the Democratic Party of Wisconsin. I should say I get equal. I get just as many things from the Republican Party and Republican candidates as I do from Democratic candidates in the Democratic Party, as well as phone calls. And I posted on Facebook the other day that I really wish there was a way to like inform the world, hey, I already voted. Stop mailing me stuff and stop calling me. But there's not. Okay, and then I got one package from Amazon. Oh, and this is fun. I got this for free. I got everything in this package for free with my Capital One reward points. My Capital One credit card, which I have saved in my Amazon wallet. Amazon recognizes when I have rewards points available and asks me, do you want to use your reward points? And it just so happened that I had just enough money, a little more than enough money, to pay for this order with my rewards points. So I got this package for free. So, aha! This is my new mini tripod. The one that I was struggling with in the car the other day. Look how tiny it is. This is a new one. Wait a minute. Oh no. It's just the bottom. There's nothing wrong with the bottom. Where did we get that top piece from?
The tripod, the big one. Well, I don't know.
Did it come with the big tripod? I didn't need this. I need another top. I need the top that I originally had because I'm using a top that I ordered separately now. I love this thing because it's perfect little size and it opens just into a tripod. I mean, it just fits in my hand and it opens into just a little tripod like that. And that's the one I normally used in the car on the dash. But I already still have this part. It's the top piece that it broke. I lost one of the little rubber grippies that holds my phone into place when we were at Wilderness Lodge in Wisconsin Dells. It fell off and disappeared. And that's what I need. And I thought that came with this. But I guess it didn't. And I tried to find another top like that, and the one I got is the one I'm using now that's too big. I needed another small one, so I didn't need this. I don't need another one of these. Oh, sending stuff back right now is such a pain because that means I'm going to have to make a trip to the post office. Shoot, I'm really disappointed. That's not what I needed. Okay, and then I got 2 books. These have been on my to-read list for a while, and I keep checking the library system, and the library system does not have them, which means they are probably British or Australian. This one says she's from California. This author is from Nashville. Well, that's weird. Normally when the library system doesn't have books, it's because they're from another country. They're not American writers, but both of these are. So I don't know why our library system doesn't have these books, but now I have 2 more books. I keep the books that I have, and I have 4 more still upstairs that I buy, like new novels that I buy. I keep them off to the side on a bookshelf. So if I ever have a gap in my books I get from the library where nothing comes in, I have other books I can read, so I don't have any gaps with nothing to read. The opposite is happening right now, which is I'm getting too many books from the library all at once, and I can't keep up. But it happens the other way too, so then I have other books to read in the meantime. Okay, it is so much hotter down here that as soon as I finished opening the mail, I literally went right back upstairs and changed back into my shorts and t-shirt. It is way hotter down here than upstairs. So that just goes to show it's so humid. How much we are missing having an air conditioner downstairs. And it's only been, what, a month that we haven't had it? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just been September that we haven't had it, but we're really missing it. And if we're missing it this bad when it's, 70s and 80s, I'm really worried about what it's going to be like next summer if we're still in this house, which we probably will be because we can't financially figure out a way to move. When it gets in the 90s and stuff in the summer, and this room is on the southwest side of the house, and that's why we have these shades and never open them, is because it gets so hot in this room, the den and the kitchen in the afternoon. It's unbearable. Now it's dark right now, and I'm still sweating, but we cannot find an air conditioner that will fit in these windows. There's nothing narrow enough. We cannot put an air conditioner in the kitchen window for 2 reasons. One, there's no electrical outlet anywhere near there, and it has to be a 3-prong electrical outlet. And because of the age of this house, a lot of our electrical outlets are not 3-prong electrical outlets. And below that window, we've had a lot of issues with water and the foundation and the basement window that's below that and stuff. And my uncle just this year, at the beginning of the summer, did a bunch of work on that window for me and tried to fix it, and it's already cracked again. But I don't want water dripping down there, and we can't put it in the den because I don't think there's an outlet anywhere near there either, is there, Meg?
No.
Yeah, there's no outlet. There's no place to plug it in. And as it is, I had to have the electrician come when we hadn't, I don't know when it was, but years ago, and make me a separate jack and get a special extension cord for where this air conditioner plugged in to separate it from my computer because everything kept blowing the circuit. So I don't know what we're going to do because
it's kind of unbearable not having an air conditioner down here, and we need it to be it really needs to be in this room. If anybody knows legitimately where you can get an air conditioner that is, it has to be like 15 inches wide or less, please tell me, because I have searched and searched and searched, and we've even, like I said, we ordered one we thought was going to fit, but it was way too big. I have no idea where the one that we had in here came from. It was digital, so it wasn't that old, but we'd had it for as long as I can remember. And it was really tight to get it in the window. And I think it was like 15, 16 inches wide, but it stopped working. It died. It completely stopped working. It was leaking Freon all over the place. So, oh, that's a pain. And now I'm going to need to search Amazon and see if I can find a different top for this. I don't know where we got the other top thing for this. If it came with this big tripod that I'm using right here, or if it was an accessory that came with our GoPro. That doesn't make any sense because it's designed to be used with a phone. I don't know where I got it. I mean, and when I searched for a different one before, that's when I got this one that I'm using right now, and it's too tall. It works fine, like in here, and like if I'm carrying the thing, but it's too tall in the car and it won't fit under the windshield. And I want to be able to use it on the dash in the car, so I need one just like what I had before, and I haven't been able to find it. So I'm gonna have to look again, I guess. I mean, I guess I'll just keep this. It wasn't that expensive, and probably be more hassle to send it back. Now I have two. I mean, I can keep one in my electronics bag that I use when we travel, and I can maybe keep one in the car if I can find another top for it. That would be kind of nice. I still have to finish the laundry too. I forgot something. So right now it is way cooler upstairs than it is downstairs. Once we start turning the heat on, we have the opposite problem. It's way too hot upstairs than downstairs, right?
Yeah.
So we have radiators, and I love radiators. We have old-fashioned, cast iron radiators in this house, and I love radiators because they're clean. You don't need a filter in the furnace. You don't have dust bunnies because you don't have vents. You don't have issues with allergies or anything because there's no duct work. So it's hot water heat in radiators, and it works really great, and it heats up very fast. And we also like putting our mittens and hats and stuff on them in the winter. There's one right by the back door. I had to move the masks though. When we first turned on the heat, I realized I had all the masks sitting on top of that radiator in plastic bags. And I'm like, oh, whoops, we got to move these. The plastic bags are going to melt. Now they're sitting on a dining room chair. I don't know where else to put them. That is one problem. We had this whole mask station right by the door, and it has been a little bit problematic. We've been forgetting to take a mask with us because they're not right there where we see them. And I don't know, there's no place else near the back door to put them that will visibly see them as we go out, and we can't keep them on I have like 100 masks, so we can't keep them on the radiator. And then we also need room for our hats and gloves and mittens and stuff. But anyway, in the fall, winter, early spring, when we have the heat on, it heats up so fast in here, and because heat rises, it gets really hot upstairs, and it's still cool down here. So basically what I'm saying is, if we turn the heat on enough for it to be warm enough down here, then when we go upstairs, it's too hot upstairs. And I also forgot to mention this morning when Ben and I were talking about it being so humid, that Ben and I had a conversation that we much prefer cold to being hot. Megan, do you agree with that too?
Yeah.
We just...
Cold, you can cover up and bundle in a bunch of blankets, but hot...
Once
you
you're
really can't
naked, there's nothing else you can do. Yeah. I much prefer being cold to being hot.
Yeah.
I don't think I could ever live in the South. I really, really don't like humidity. Ben doesn't either. We are literally just like waiting now for it to freeze at night. And the other thing that's good about once it freezes at night is all the bugs die. I just came back up from the basement from doing more laundry. I still have so much laundry to do, and I'm really hot right now. I really miss having an air conditioner down here. It's almost 6 o'clock. I do not like doing laundry or going in the basement at all after it gets dark. So I'm probably going to have to finish the laundry tomorrow, which I really hate. I really hate when it goes into a second day like that. I don't like it at all. I don't like laundry day. I don't like Saturdays. And then I'm really sad. This day is making me sad because Megan just told me that while I was taking a nap, Andrew called. And Andrew almost never calls. He rarely calls. And I'm so sad I missed his call. I was actually really teary last night after I finished my book because that book that I showed you this morning that I finished last night, The Lines of Fifth Avenue, one whole big plot thing was about the mother and her son and how they were really, really close, and then stuff happens, and the last time she sees him, he's 15 years old, and then she never sees him again in her whole life. And she dies like 30 years later, and she never saw him again. So that made me sad and made me realize I really, really miss Andrew. And so I'm really sad that I missed his call. I'm going to try to call him back, but it's already late. I should have made supper already. Sometimes I will say being a single mom really sucks. And one of the things that really sucks is everything is on me. All of the responsibility, all of the tasks, all of the pressure, everything is on me. It's just all those little tasks all the time really wear me down and make me feel very stressed and very tired and very overwhelmed, and it's constant. If you're a single parent, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. But I've basically been a single parent for basically my entire adult life. I was a single parent when I had Andrew when I was 24. I didn't get married until he was almost 6. And then I was married for 11 years, but for 3 of those years, my husband was out of the picture. He left and we didn't know where he was. And it wasn't until 3 years later that our divorce was actually final. Of the 23 years, almost 24 years of Andrew's life, because he's going to turn 24 in December, I've been a single mom all but 8 of them. It's a very long time to be a single parent with no help. One last little clip here, and this will wrap up this week-long series, which I hope you've enjoyed. Okay, I want to give you a couple updates of things that I mentioned earlier today. I fixed the Roku. I fiddled with it for the longest time, and then I finally did the unplug it and plug it back in trick, and that worked, and it fixed the sound, so just must have needed to reset itself. I did not finish the laundry. It got dark, and as I mentioned, I do not like to go into our creepy basement after it gets dark. And so I still have a couple more loads of laundry to do that I will have to finish tomorrow. I did get to have a nice long phone conversation with my son, Andrew. We talked on the phone for about an hour, and that was really nice to have a nice long conversation with him. And I found out that he had a COVID test. Because we were talking about how we feel about having to have it, like if you go on a cruise or something. He does agree with us, our assessment about cruising. We all pretty much are of the same mind that we want to put off cruising until testing is no longer required. We just don't think it's worth the risk, because if my understanding is, at least for some cruise lines, if you have a positive test, either before you go to the port or when you get to the port, that there's a pretty big risk you could be denied boarding and lose all your money. If somebody knows for sure about that, and to my understanding, the cruise lines haven't really specified that yet. So we just all think it's too big of a risk, and we also have concerns about the timing of the testing. We understand that the cruise lines are putting these additional precautions into place, like the sanitization on the ships, the ventilation systems, the masks, the social distancing. However, my concern is that people will mistakenly think that, oh, my COVID test was negative, I don't have it, I don't have to follow these precautions. I'm especially concerned about that being the attitude of Americans, and that the issue of enforcement on the ships might be problematic, because it's a proven fact, and when you get a positive COVID test, which I found out from people who have it, that they tell you it could take up to 14 days before enough virus has built up in your body for the test to come back positive. So if you were exposed, you have the virus, but you have that test on day 3, 4, 5 or whatever, even day 10, and enough virus hasn't built up in your body yet, you could get a negative test and still have the virus and get sick later or be passing it on to other people that whole time. That's why they have people who were exposed quarantined for a full 14 days, because it can take that long for it to build up in your body and actually make you sick. So I'm concerned about that. I'm also concerned about the possibility that people could have the negative test at home, but then be exposed to the virus and catch it in between the time they have that test and when they board the ship. So the testing thing with the cruise lines is problematic, and basically our whole family agrees that we're probably going to wait, as disappointed as we are, we're probably going to wait to take another cruise until that testing requirement is removed. He was reassuring me that he's just as diligent and paranoid about the virus as I am, because he said he woke up on a Tuesday morning and had a sore throat, and his first thought was, oh no, I have the virus and I'm gonna die. And so he called his doctor, had a virtual visit, and then he said he went and drove through he drove into a tent, and the doctor thought he had strep. So they did a strep test and a COVID test, he said, up both nostrils, and he just sat in his car, so he didn't even get out of his car. They were all negative. Yay! But he said he felt that the strep test was worse. Now, I don't mind. I mean, I still gag and I tear up and everything when they do the thing down my throat, but Andrew has a particularly sensitive gag reflex. He always has. And he said, Mom, I don't like having things up my nose. And for example, he's had asthma since he was very little, and he never wanted to do the nasal, steroid inhalers. Steroid inhalers? Yeah, like Flonase or whatever. He never could tolerate that because he didn't like things up his nose. But he did not describe the COVID test as painful. He said it was uncomfortable, but he said that the strep test was worse. So I thought that was kind of interesting. If you've had a COVID test, will you leave in the comments below? What did you think of it? How would you describe it? Because I'm still just really freaked out by the whole thing. I guess that's about it. That kind of wraps up my Saturday. It's pretty late now. It's going on 9 o'clock. I'm going to try to finish some things up before we get to bed. I'll have to finish the laundry tomorrow. But again, I hope you enjoyed this behind the scenes look into our life at home. And I hope that you'll subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you everyone for joining us this week. Safe travels.